In the month of June, we are going to be getting Shadow Dialga in Shadow Legendary raids, and I will say when it comes to Shadow Legendaries, this is finally one that is worth farming because it is incredibly powerful and really useful. And I'm going to be talking about how you could take down Shadow Dialga and also why you need to raid for it. Hey, what's happening everyone? Count Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon GO video. I hope your week is going really well, and let's get right into it. So today I'm going to be doing something that I haven't really done in a long time, and that is actually give you a raid guide for a Shadow Legendary Pokemon. Aside from Legendary Raid days where we have a Shadow Legendary, I don't really feel compelled to do guides for Shadow Legendaries because typically we do not get one that is actually worth going after. I think the last time we had a really good Shadow Legendary in Shadow Legendary raids was either Groudon or Kyogre. I will say those were really good, but as of right now, we actually have one that is worth going after, and that is of course Shadow Dialga. The reason why I say it is worth going for is because when it comes to dragon types, it is actually a really powerful legendary Pokemon, and it could actually prove to be really useful in raids. And I think next month we're probably going to be getting Shadow Palkia, which in my opinion might actually be better than Shadow Dialga, but regardless, you really need to go for this Shadow Legendary because if you are lucky enough to get a Shadow Shiny Legendary that has high IVs, it might actually be worth powering up. I mean, who knows, maybe in the future we'll get the origin forms of Dialga and Palkia as Shadows. I mean, that could be incredible. It might even rival Mega Rayquaza. But until then, I think Shadow Dialga and Shadow Palkia, if we were to get it next month, they're definitely going to be powerhouses. So yeah, let's go over how you could take it down because when it comes to Shadow Legendary raids, they are a little bit more difficult compared to regular Legendary raids. Shadow Dialga is going to be, of course, very similar to regular Dialga raids. It means it's going to have the same types and weaknesses. In particular, it's going to be a Steel and Dragon type raid boss. And that means it's only going to have two weaknesses, and those weaknesses are going to be ground type and fighting type attacks, and it's also going to have a plethora of different resistances. So avoid bringing any Pokemon with grass or poison type attacks, especially those two types because it actually double resists those moves. And then also avoid bringing any bug type, electric type, flying type, normal type, psychic type, rock type, or steel type or water type damage because those are not going to be effective as well. Now, the IV floor for Shadow Legendary raids is actually going to be much lower than regular Legendary raids. In typical raids, the floor is going to be 10 attack, 10 defense, as well as 10 stamina, but when it comes to Shadow raids, it's going to be 6 attack, 6 defense, as well as 6 HP. But even with that, the perfect IVs is going to be the same as regular Dialga raids. You're going to want to look for one that is 2307, and if it's weather boosted, it's going to be 2884. And Shadow Dialga is going to be weather boosted by snowy weather and windy weather. But again, because the IV floor is much lower, the chances of you getting perfect IVs is going to be significantly lower, so do keep that in mind. And considering this is going to be a Shadow Legendary raid, that means it's going to be a little bit more difficult compared to regular raids. If you want to secure the win, you could Zerg it down with 6 to 8 trainers in the lobby, and if you don't want to challenge yourself, maybe you could trio this raid boss, possibly even duo it, but I will say 4 trainers is probably the absolute minimum. And these are the best counters for Shadow Dialga, and they're going to be very similar to regular Dialga. When it comes to Mega Evolutions, Mega Lucario is the absolute best and you will definitely want to bring it. But another good option is of course Primal Groudon because it is weak against ground type attacks. Now when it comes to non-Mega Evolution Pokemon, of course, Resolute Form Keldeo is going to be the strongest fighting type by far when it comes to this raid. You will definitely want to consider bringing it, especially because of the amount of damage it could deal. Just make sure you go with the absolute best fighting type charge attacks and fast attacks. And then when it comes to other Pokemon you could bring, Shadow Excadrill is pretty good, as well as Shadow Groudon, which is kind of like a no-brainer. As long as you bring a Shadow Groudon with ground type attacks, it's going to be one of the top DPS. Now if you don't have any of these Pokemon, of course you could consider the following budget counters: regular Lucario as well as regular Excadrill with ground type attacks. Those are going to be really good. Okay, so if you know how to take down regular Dialga in raid battles, then yeah, it's pretty much going to be the exact same counters. I think the addition of Resolute Form Caldeo is something that a lot of players don't realize is actually quite impactful. I know it was kind of like a pay-to-win reward previously. I think a lot of players are sitting on Caldeos without realizing that the Resolute Form is actually one of the best fighting type Pokemon in the game. Yeah, you will definitely want to power it up, and you will definitely want to bring it for this particular raid. Now, considering that this is a Shadow Legendary raid, there are certain mechanics that you need to be aware of. In particular, these Pokemon will actually enrage in the middle of the fight, and you need to use those Purifying Gems, which you can get from regular Team Go Rocket battles. Those are actually very essential. Regardless if you're going with a full team of 20 people, I don't think you'll necessarily need them as much, but they're still really important. You do not want to neglect them. I think it takes 5 or 6 in order to subdue the Pokemon, get it out of the enrage mode, in which case, once it is subdued, it goes down really quickly. It kind of gives you a multiplier, like a damage multiplier. And then on top of that, when it is enraged, it deals more damage, it's harder to take down, like it gets increased defense. Like, you don't want the Pokemon to stay that way for a while. I mean, if you're going with very few trainers, like if you're trying to 4-man this raid boss or 5-man it, you will need a bunch of Purifying Gems. You're probably going to have to use multiples of them, but once you subdue the Pokemon, it will go down incredibly easy. So yeah, that's really the one mechanic you need to be aware of. But again, just bring all the counters you would typically bring to like a regular Dialga raid, and you'll be good to go. When it comes to legendary Shadow Pokemon, this is definitely one to farm up, and you have the whole month to do it, which I think is really nice. And I think recently, actually not even recently, I think it's been a while now, they actually allow you to remote raid into these. Again, you do need a lot more trainers than usual, so if you can remote raid into these, yeah, you should try that. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Share your thoughts regarding this raid boss in the comments down below. Are you going to be going after Shadow Dialga this month? Are you actually going to be doing those Shadow Legendary raids? Are you prepared? Do you have the best counters? Is there a particular strategy that I completely glossed over? Make sure you share what that is in the comments. Yeah, let's have a great discussion. And thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. If you want to support my channel, the best way you can do that is by hitting the like button for this video, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. And also turn on that notification bell so you know exactly when I upload videos. And also consider checking out the links in the description below. If you want to play Pokemon Go with me, you could do that by joining my Patreon. And there is a link to that in the description below. All my Patreon members get added to my Pokemon Go friends list, and that means for remote raids, the friendship system, all that good stuff. If you want to play Pokemon Go with me, then make sure you go and check out my Patreon. And yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself today, and I'll catch you in the next video.